I greet you folks. Welcome to another program in the series, Homo Politicus. And on Enterprise TV, we make to enhance your viewing by interrogating any issue thrown up. Just so you know, today, a former president's admonition. Eschew politics built on ethnicity, it continues to wobble, he insists. Now, of the tons of democracy quotes I have stumbled upon, the one that resonates with me most of all is that credited to the late Nigerian poet, novelist, and critic, Professor Chinua Achebe. He said, let me quote him, "A functioning, robust democracy requires a healthy, educated, participatory followership and an educated, morally grounded leadership," end quote. Now, the two-way street there is leadership and followership. But for former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, there's an admonition. It sounds like a familiar refrain. The job-born politician says that political leaders in Nigeria should shun democracy built on the politics of region and religion and not pass them to future generations. Good talk, but former President Jonathan forgets that religion and region are fault lines concretized by members of the political elite. At this stage, are they easy to throw overboard? Let's have a conversation, please. My two conversationalists are the unputdownable, some would say an elastic barrister, Wale Okwade. Wale is an attorney at law. He's the director of Voters Awareness Initiative, and he chances to talk about Nigeria and the way we govern our country. Wale is joined by Akin Fatunke, chartered accountant and public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, the subject matter is familiar to you. Shun politics of region and religion. I've heard that before. I don't know about you, Wale.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll just refresh the minds of your mind and that of Nigerians to Waziri Ibrahim.
The gospel of politics without bitterness, yeah.
Shaking. But he was a lone voice in the wilderness.
In the desert.
Till tomorrow, not today, till tomorrow, the Nigerian politician will always preach politics with bitterness. Because it's a do and die politics that they practice.
Winner takes all.
Winner takes all. They care less about what the victim or the opposition gets or sees.
It's a zero-sum game to him.
They'll get there at all costs. Get there at all costs. They are fetish, they are brutish, and they are mean.
Machiavellian, as they say.
Serious Machiavellian politics. They care less about whose ox is God. Theirs is that power, that office, that goal.
Like it or not.
They will get it through hook or crook. And you see the way they go about it. And the most interesting and fearful thing is the propaganda. Wow. When elections are coming, you see the rate of propaganda. In fact, let me just pull your leg. The other day, what's this former governor's name? Ambody, okay. This Ambody went Lagos to town to say that Sanwo-Olu is a madman. That he was treated in Aro. To see how politicians take their game to all height without any remorse whatsoever. Do we go that way?
No wonder Otto von Bismarck, the first German chancellor, said politics is the art of the possible.
In politics, everything is possible. Is it the Charlie boy that says that in Nigeria, anything is possible too? So, where am I going with your opening salvo is that the Nigerian politician thrives on ethnicity. The last elections is quite clear again. And that's why I said till tomorrow, the Nigerian politician will always build on religion, on ethnicity. I don't want to mention names so that it doesn't move too far.
Wale,
but I still have to.
I am Ibibio. And so if I go into politics today, obviously you expect the Ibibio country to be behind me.
Definitely now.
I will appeal to the sentiments of
definitely now. That's the charity begins at home. You saw now Obi when he was talking about is a religious war, taking it that far. So that's religion. I mean Peter Obi. Then, of course, we knew how the votes went in the southeast. 80% or 95% voted for Peter Obi.
But aren't you surprised, Wale, that in all 5 southeast states, only one, Abia, returned a Labour Party governor?
I'm not surprised. Okay. I'm not surprised because
I am surprised.
It's not the Obi factor.
Okay.
It's the Oti factor. Don't forget that the man left PDP and he has been there. I guess he was in Apga. Is it Apuga? he was in Apga before. They didn't give him the ticket. Wow. He now left for Labour. So, okay, look at it now. How many legislators are from the Labour Party in Abia?
Okay.
How many people are in the National Assembly on Labour Party, Abia? Both Senate and the House of Representatives. Yeah, okay. Look at it. Not maybe 1 or 2 in the House of Rep. So the OT man was a phenomenon. It wasn't Labour induced.
All right.
And you will look at the Edo that is breaking. Let's now see how it comes.
Yeah, Wale, just a minute. Akin, Wale is not speaking for you, or is he?
Well, Wale is speaking for me in the downstream. But like we say in my profession, everything starts from the upstream.
Okay.
And the upstream is such that this movie has happened before. We've seen it before. I would say that the national anthem that we are getting back into, the one that we got at our flag independence, penned by Mrs. Williams, the British, spoke clearly of the fact that, yes, we differ by tribe, we differ by tongues. And when we now moved around about 1960 to 1963, and we are going to go into the regional kind of governance, you remember that quick between Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, and Nnamdi Azikiwe, as to, yes, we are different. It's been there. And what the former President Jonathan is saying, like I said, in the script that we have seen before, and Nnamdi Azikiwe.
It's like, I'm sorry, let me go lyrically a little, touch my home base. My people, Wale, the man would say, if no enam, edonam kitong, enin, edonin kitong.
You are speaking in tongues.
Let me verbalize it.
Okay, then.
When you trumpet into the elephant's ears, you know the elephant's power is to trumpet. When it blows that trumpet, every other animal screams. But when you return the trumpet into his ears, you make him
deaf
or mad. Or near mad.
Or sometimes
so. Jonathan is speaking to his community. He's trumpeting towards the community.
Yeah.
And he's trumpeting in a way that, at the end of the day, like I said in 1963, when Nnamdi Azikiwe jokingly mentions to the Sardauna of Sokoto, yes, we know all these fault lines are there, but let's forget them. What did Sardauna say? He said, Nnamdi, no. They are there. Let's recognize that it exists and let's find
Okay, the famous statement, let's forget our differences. Sardauna said, no, let's know these differences.
And know how we can work them. And like Wale has said, the whole essence of elections and grab for leadership is sectionalized. To take it or leave it, with the exception, and I'm not sure, would not say it's a flash in the pan. In 1993, the June 12th elections, where we had a Muslim ticket, seen clearly by the Talakawas, the middle class, and the top echelons as a personality who may be coming not necessarily from the core north, but has their religion and has their cosmopolitanism.
Without meaning to puncture what you're saying, or punctuate needlessly. Before then, Wale would remember that in Lagos State, Jakonde and Jafojo were both Muslims.
Yeah.
They passed.
And they passed.
So, banking on religious sentiments.
Can that happen again? And that is the question.
As we sit here, the current president is a Muslim.
It happens.
His vice is a Muslim.
And
people say it won't fly.
And yeah, people say it. Excuse me, Wale.
Yes, sir.
People said it won't fly, and they still don't believe it can fly, even post-election. I am not going to.
I did dreaming.
Have my different.
1 year after.
I have my point there.
Okay, sir.
But you are right on the dial when you now then say Zoom, who have been patching and repatching until 2023 elections.
Yeah.
The 2023 elections, like Fela said, brought out the beasts that we are really are. That many of these things are things that we cannot jettison. So, President Jonathan, in my own opinion, former President Jonathan, had to give a lecture. What else do you expect him to see? That, yes, let's forget about region, let's forget about tribe, let's forget about
religion.
About our religion. But you know, it's Wale, my revered pastor. It's like what we preach all the time. What we preach that please, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, no doubt about it. But we got to try and go through the narrow. But people say, yes, they go out and do the complete opposite because of the lust for flesh, because of the lust for power. As far as I'm concerned, if 2027 happens day before yesterday, you had me right. Happens day before yesterday, okay, you tell me that is not possible. Okay, so yesterday, okay, today. If it happens tomorrow, these issues that former President Jonathan has asked that we politicians, we should execute, they will come into the picture again. We will have learned nothing. We will have forgotten nothing like the bonbons of facts. And only God knows. I know part of the reason why I thought, you always talk about two sides. So we had one side in Sadana, Sokoto. We had the other side in Uzik. The flip side, and maybe somebody should have mentioned it to them that, look, the earlier we know those differences are things we may not be able to cure. I use the word we may not be able to cure because of our peculiar circumstances. We better get back to the drawing boards. Let's not lie to ourselves that we could do a regional government, or later on that we now said that we are doing a federal constitution. We now then drew a constitution that is lined onto itself with so many other booby traps. It's not getting elsewhere. Can we look for a fit for purpose kind of situations where we can go our own little different ways, not necessarily breaking a little different way, then decide by confederal, something similar to what we have in the regions. By confederal, let's go compete at our own different places and then bring something to the center.
I've had calls to puncture a statement like that somewhere else. We are a country of many nations. I spoke about the Ibibio nation. You have the Yoruba nation, the Hausa, and they say we are up to 360, or is it 200?
Over 250.
Americans, the United States of America is a nation of nations.
It's a nation of nations.
And talk less of India, which is the most populous country now. It has taken China. So India is a nation of nations, but they have managed to steer the boat in the right direction. Wale, are we in a fix? Are we in a quandary is the normal question.
Yes, I will answer your question this way now. I will quickly take off from where my brother Aki stopped. And I'll go to the Bible. Jonathan is a gentleman. He's a gentleman in politics. If you remember when he lost his election to Buhari.
The famous statement.
He is sitting president. Of course, the hawks and the baboons and the hyenas around him said no. He took the call, he wanted to make a call. Don't do it. Don't make that call. Don't concede. Let's turn everything around. Those are those who are not, who don't have the fear of God. This man has a fear of God. And the way he's sermonizing, you see, is the Spirit of God talking. That's how politics should be played. But not in Nigeria. Jonathan came too early for the political system he led that time. And that's why he was shocked.
Might I compare Jonathan to the late Obafemi Awolowo? As a gentleman. And then ask yourself if Nigerian politics is a place for gentlemen.
Awolowo, one cannot bring Awolowo in here because Awolowo has not, you see, the Yoruba will say, if your hand had not touched the machete, you will not ask who killed your father. Awolowo has not tasted that power at that level.
Okay.
Yes, he was a premier, he was a good man and co.
Oh, okay. I think a name that fits the bill here is the late Abubakar Tafawa Balewa.
Yes, that one too was a gentleman now. That one was a gentleman. You saw he didn't use his political power the way it should be. And of course, to that extent, that's why the military came, because he had the intelligence that the military would strike. I just waved it with a wave of hand that had to happen. Okay. And we saw what happened. So now coming back to Jonathan, vis-a-vis your question, the man looked at it, that's the truth. A situation where you see children of politicians who has no background with financial power, with financial muscle, spending dollars in Nigeria of nowadays. If it's a portable, one will say, yes, that guy just came from America with loads of dollars. So it's explainable.
Oh, you mean the other man? Akin was the other guy.
I'm talking about this musician that is just in America now.
No, I'm talking about the guy who got nabbed by the Americans for Hush Puppy.
Hush Puppy. No, I'm not even going to Hush Puppy. That one is another story. Okay. We are talking of something. This one is his sweat. The guy went and did a show. He was making shows and people were spraying him. It's different from Hush Puppy. That one is another thing. Don't let's go there.
Okay.
Right? This one now with dollar, then you can say yes. He earned it and he's spending it. Not to talk of people who have no relationship with dollar. They have no business at all with international trade. All their business, that relationship that they have is that their father or they themselves have access to political office. And that's all. And they now have access to the dollar.
Okay, they have access to the dollar because power corrupts absolutely. And absolute power corrupts so badly. And then
let's adjust that statement to include power corrupts, but the fear of losing power tends to corrupt more viciously and crudely.
Lack of enlightenment, lack of education, not book, no wisdom, not knowing fully that you can sleep and not wake up.
You don't know that.
It happens to Abacha. Point is, we are different and we look at things too differently. And the earlier we accept that fact as fait accompli,
the producer tells me we have less than 2 minutes left. But let me quickly go there. I lifted a quote, a quotation from Achebe. A functioning, robust democracy requires a healthy, educated, participatory followership, and an educated, morally grounded leadership. That is missing here.
Yes, it's missing because people, I will go to the Bible now. It is in James 1:22. Be you doers and not just hearers alone. The Nigerian public are so naive, nonchalant, and careless about their political leaders. So you find out that charlatans...
followership is also a problem here.
I think followership must be a problem because we believe, example, we produce oil, rain falls, and so things should just come to us like manna from.
It doesn't happen like that.
I also believe strongly that we have become a bit of layback. It's going to be my turn. If it's going to be my turn, everything from center should come to me. If it's going to be somebody else's turn, okay, something should go there. We cannot run a modern country and economy like that. We are a territory, no doubt about that. We've been clubbed together. Somebody said since 1914 should have elapsed. We do not have a means of looking at things with the same prism. We do not believe, say for instance, the number of wives we should have, you can say that's religion, do not believe in the number of children we should have. We do not believe in the number of education that
they say Africans don't count children.
Unfortunately for us, back in the day, we didn't see it, but I have a problem with my colleagues who are professors. I have a problem with my colleagues who are elites, who are even acting worse than the times of Professor Bala Usman of blessed memory. We have a situation where he said, well, it's my turn. Okay, and if it's going to be my turn, it's going to be my turn. And the other person says, hey, I think it's your turn. It should also be my turn. Let's be fair. Let's find a way to balance things. And we go to a National Assembly that is anything but national. Because we cannot go in there and the three of us can have different ways of looking at things. And then we say, okay, can we have a vote? If we vote at that National Assembly to say, for instance, please extend life expectancy, if it is possible. God wants to go and ask God. And God can say, look, I can move it from 45, 50, I can move it to 70. And some people will say, I don't want to live to up to 70. And we put it into a vote.
Yeah, gentlemen.
And they will win.
And you know, the debate will continue till tomorrow and the day after. Should we send anybody on pilgrimages? And if the answer is yes, must we commit our national resources to it?
We shouldn't.
The debate, the thing is still debated.
About priorities. And you know what is going on now? I know that my friend, Wale, is nodding. Of course. Naturally, his constituency will be expecting that we spend 98.
Somebody is already...
No. Hold on. The law is clear that Section 10, that the state should not be involved in religion.
It should not be.
So?
Good.
That is...
Is it possible to divorce both of them?
Unfortunately, that's why that's my opening salvo, that the politicians can't do without taking advantage of the religiosity of the Nigerian people, particularly the low class and the how do we call it now? Those that can be easily manipulated.
But don't forget the late great so-called first Antichrist, Napoleon Bonaparte said. Religion is
opium.
No. That was Karl Marx. Napoleon said, religion is effective in keeping the poor people down.
So in trying to keep them down, we are now looking at 2027. Why do you think we are doing these things? To be able to harness and garner votes, pure and simple.
That's all.
And we also made a point.
2027 is already here.
Was here yesterday.
That one
so, as far as I know, when you have a citizenry who believes that what they need is now
tokenism,
prebendalism,
stomach structure, stomach infrastructure.
It's now getting into buttocks infrastructure. we get into a situation where, I like to say to you, it's going to get so ridiculous that we are not going to be thinking of just the two religions. We have the Muslims, we have the Christians, we have the non-conformists. The non-conformists too much. We say that they want to ask for their own.
And the traditionalists.
To just tell you,
they must also ask for their day in the sun.
To just tell you how ridiculous things are. When we do not have character, and I'm happy that Wale is saying, when we don't have character and competence and capacity, if they don't become the fulcrum of governance for us, we'll continue to march backwards, unfortunately.
Okay then. Otto von Bismarck also said, I'm sure you are familiar with this, maybe not Wale. Politics is not an exact science. I'm saying through it. An exact science like mathematics and
2 + 2
and physics.
Square root 0 + 0.
It is quadratic equation. Where x plus whatever it is
equals
find x. When they ask you to find x and ask a human being to bring x, he might bring an elephant.
Wow.
And when he brings an elephant, he say, well, that represents me. And then you say, where then do you go there? Confusion, break a bone.
Yeah.
Double barrel for the body.
And for now the body. All right. So we apply the brakes here, but not before thanking Wale Ogwande for your time. Thank you.
To God be the glory.
And of course, Aki Fatunke.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Nigerians.
All right, folks, the debate will continue from your part of town. The former president is asking you and I to eschew politics built on ethnicity and religion. He says if we indulge in that, it continues to wobble and make the tough very ugly for us all. Do you agree with this sentiment? We must go. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, thank you for watching. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.